The tropics are the region of the Earth near to the equator and between the Tropic of Cancer in the northern hemisphere and the Tropic of Capricorn in the southern hemisphere. They are warm all year since they get more exposure to the sun, and as a result, they only have two season moments, the wet season and the dry season. Moreover, this kind of ecosystem receives an amount of rain that can vary depending on its location. For example, in South America, it can get around 9 feet of rain. This is important due to the fact that the amount of rain received in the tropics affects the flora and fauna that live there. In Ecuador, the Amazon region has an approximate area of 120,000 square kilometers, where we can find national parks and reserves such as Yasuní, Sumaco Napo Galeras, Cuyabeno National Park, and many others. Cuyabeno National Park is also known as Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve. It is located in the Putumayo Canton in the Sucumbíos Province and in the Aguarico Canton in the Orellana Province on an extensive plain very close to the Andes foothills. It is the second largest reserve of the national parks and protected areas in Ecuador. The average temperature is 25 Celsius degrees and the average annual rainfall is about 3,400 millimeters. This wildlife reserve was named after the Cuyabeno River. This river and two others named Lagartococha and Aguarico are responsible for the water basins and floated ecosystems found in this protected area. Moreover, these rivers are examples of white water rivers and dark water rivers, which this protected area has as a result of its unique location. The first kind originates on the mountain range and descends the whole along many sediments, which is why it has a tan yellow color. An example of this river is the Aguarico. On the other hand, the dark water river originates within the jungle and the decomposing vegetal material gives it a dark color. Examples of these rivers are Cuyabeno and Lagartococha. Inside the Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve, there are 13 lakes among which can be found the Cuyabeno Lake, Zancudo Coche, and many others. During the dry season, these lakes can fall completely dry. The purpose of this wildlife reserve is to protect the flora and fauna of this tropic since it is a unique place due to its location, which gives it unusual characteristics and makes it different from any other Amazon protected area in the world, and also to protect the 7 indigenous communities that live here and who belong to 5 tribes, Sionas, Secoyas, Cofanes, Quichuas, and Shuaras. These communities use many products from the jungle. They also practice small-scale farming and fishing, which in fact is prohibited to everyone, but only allowed to them as personal use. They are also involved in ecotourism, specifically in providing the transportation needs with their canoes. The Cofans have their own Cofan Lodge. As a unique place, 9 major ecosystems can be found.
First, the humid tropical lowland evergreen forest, well drained. This is a very diverse forest where trees with different heights can be found. For example, the Cedrelinga careniformis. Second, the tropical evergreen humid lowland forest, frequently inundated. These forests get often flooded for several days and can reach a height of 30 to 40 meters. Streams and fallen trees can be found across the forests. Third, the tropical evergreen humid lowland forest, seasonally inundated. They are found on very poorly drained plains. During the wet season, water can reach a height of 3 to 4 meters. On the other hand, during the dry season, even the lakes may fall dry. Fourth, semi-permanently inundated forests flooded by blackwater rivers. These forests are dominated by macrolobium trees. These trees do not reach a height higher than 8 meters. They are home to countless epiphytes, herons, blue and yellow macaws, and Hudsons. Fifth, submerged herbal vegetation. They are found along lake and river shores. They are formed by rooted water plants and shrubs that endure long-term submersion. An example of this is Cyperus odoratus. Sixth, coffee and milk-colored sediment-rich rivers, the largest being the Aguarico River. Seventh, blackwater sediment-poor rivers, most notably the Savalo River. Eighth, permanent lakes that rarely fall dry, primarily Zacundo Coche along the Aguarico River. Ninth, semi-permanent lakes that often fall at least partly dry during the year, the largest being the Cuyabeno Lake. These 9 ecosystems are home to many animals and plants. Flora can be considered as one of the most diverse in the world, since it has more than 12,000 attributed species that distribute among the ecosystems. Although the number is uncertain, some books have recorded that there are 47 endemic species in the Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve. Fauna is also very diverse. In this area, different mammals, reptiles, amphibians, fishes, insects, and arachnids can be found. There are 165 species of mammals, in which animals such as the spectral bat, the jaguar, lowland tapir, migmid marmoset, 2 species of dolphins, the pink ones and the gray ones, can be found. Reptiles such as the anaconda, boa constrictor, the charpa turtle, and the smooth-fronted caiman live here too. About 540 bird species live in this area, which include the blue and yellow macaw, channel-billed toucan, ringed kingfisher, and the Vilocelos quiet dove. The smoky jungle frog, white-lined leaf frog, and the Ecuadorian climbing salamander are amphibians that live here too. There are approximately 475 species of fish living in this place. Among these, we can find the white piranha, trajero fish, and carachama fish. Insects and arachnids are distributed through the ecosystem. There are a lot of interesting species, such as the bullet ant, blue-banded morpho, and the Amazon thorn spider.
Natural resources found in the Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve are oil, flora and fauna, macro and microhabitat, soil, sun, minerals, and water. Indigenous communities that live inside this protected area use these natural resources to survive, meaning that they perform activities that include the use of the majority of them. As mentioned before, indigenous communities hunt, fish, and practice small-scale farming. On the other hand, the main ecosystem service provided by this area is ecotourism. Through these activities, authorities and indigenous communities work together in order to encourage a sustainable ecotourism. Among the activities, we can find standard Fan Lodge Tour, Cuyabeno Loop, Lagartococha Expedition, Cuyabeno Lake Program, and the Cuyabeno Lodge. Most of them can include day excursions, night excursions, paddling, pottery, swimming. The Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve has been classified in IUCN category 4, protected area with sustainable use of natural resources. This means the area has a sustainable use of natural resources, which aims to achieve nature conservation, working together with other actions such as protection. Unfortunately, this does not mean there aren't any threats of the conservation of Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve. In fact, these threats are oil extraction activities, timber extraction, illegal hunting, illegal traffic of wild species, agriculture under the monoculture model, and expansion of agricultural areas and colonization. These activities often benefit economical goals related to companies and the government, but they destroy not only the ecosystem, but flora, fauna, and indigenous communities' habitat. Nowadays, humans have become aware of the situation regarding threats to these magical places, but we believe it is not enough. We think that these places, and specifically talking about the Cuyabeno Wildlife Reserve, should expand the protected area farther more than it is right now. We should not allow the exploitation, legal and illegal activities, because this would only lead to the desire of more destruction. By 2050, we estimate authorities will prohibit the activities mentioned before and find a new way of having a stable economy, which does not translate into a threat to conservation of these areas. Moreover, these authorities will encourage their nation to preserve and realize the importance of these ecosystems in terms of flora, fauna, communities, livelihood, and survival. We hope you become one of them, and we invite you all to work together to be better and protect our planet.